Like I said, woo, we got through it. I'm encouraged with where our defense is, and this is you guys' I guess second time watching them at the end of spring. It's probably good that you did. You can tell that the depth that I've been talking about from the first unit to the second unit, we've kind of, sorry Neil, we've kind of closed the gap, a little bit with those units, particularly up front. I think defensively we got good depth and some good experience and some young talent that's really going to help us play at a higher level and sustain high level of play throughout games. So I'm really encouraged by that. The young secondary is playing well. It seems like every practice they're creating turnovers. Those are two things, getting pass rush and being able to create some turnovers. They're doing those things, and you can see that that's evident today in their play. There was a few drives I extended, even though there was holding calls against the offense. So, believe me, if I would have marked off those penalties, the offense may not have had much production at all. So that tells you a little bit about how our defense is. Offensively, as you know, we had 8 offensive linemen for 2 groups. So we had a lot of guys rotating in, and you saw taking longer breaks and stuff like that. So even though we were limping across the finish line, we finished pretty well with what we had. A lot of guys got reps. A lot of guys that are key in terms of our depth got a lot of reps. So when we get some of those veteran, experienced players back from their injuries and stuff like that in the summer, I feel like we've closed the gap with some of those younger players that had to have a lot of reps this spring. We should be able to have 2 solid units, even on the offensive side. So I'm just happy we got through it. I like how our team has matured at this point. They're learning how to be a team. They're learning how to compete against each other and encourage each other. So those steps of progress are really important to me. I think we can build off those things in the summer. It's I would say yes. Whenever you get 2 years into the same system, it allows you to be a little bit more comfortable into that system. I think it's also, Neil, the addition of we got more depth up front than we've had in the past. And it's, Terrence Lang's not even out there, and he's missed the last 2 weeks of spring. But you probably hardly noticed whether we need him or not, given how the depth of the team is really, really encouraging. So, of course we need Terrence, but my point is, I feel like we got some capable players that can really play at the similar level as some of the guys that are our starters. So I'm really encouraged with what our defense is doing. Our secondary, the body of work there is young, but they don't play necessarily like they're just freshmen, particularly with those sophomores that are now true sophomores. That experience is really going to help them be better, and then the freshmen underneath them are going to get caught up to like how Nico and Kalen were for us a year ago. So I feel like that's in good shape. Linebacker-wise, we're doing really good there. 2 young players. Isaac Hurtado keeps making plays. Owen Carey keeps making plays. Alvin Williams keeps making plays. So we have a number of youthful guys there. Quinn Perry looked good in his role. Marvin Ham. Robert Barnes, all those guys are doing a really, really solid job there. So we're young overall there, but we got some veteran guys at the starter positions, but the younger talent's really talented enough that we feel comfortable that they can play.
In terms of your team's first spring experience with restrictions the last few years, what was your team's excitement today, having crowds back and back to some normalcy for you and your team right now?
It was good to see a little bit of a crowd here and the festivities before the showcase. That was really fun for those guys. Of course, they love playing in front of people. That's always helpful. But I think they're legitimately excited about the season. They really are. So I know when you guys talk to them and get a chance to, they'll take their break, but they're going to be looking forward to coming back this summer and getting back to work and really taking those final steps to getting ready. Absolutely. He had a lot of time playing for us a year ago in a reserve fashion. He's going to be technically one of our starters now. So, he looks confident. He's making plays, making good decisions. So there's no question he's about what we need him to be right now from his growth and experience right now.
We saw that trick play from Montana to Josh. What was your reaction to that? Should we be seeing that in the fall?
you'll be seeing a number of those types of things. So, yeah, we threw a gadget or two today, but nothing really, nothing really huge. But it was good to just have a little fun on a play. Jack Estera, who caught the pass. Here's a guy that has had a great spring, and it kind of goes back into those younger guys that are getting all these reps because older guys are hurt. He's had a great spring. He's coming down with a bunch of plays, and his confidence level's tremendous, and it's good to see a guy like him. He's a great example of he's going to be a factor for us this fall just because of his confidence and how much he's grown over the month of April.
Karl, we saw Daniel Arias get a little bit banged up trying to
Thank goodness that was, yeah.
It looked like he walked it off. Any concern there as of right now?
No, the reports are he's fine. I think it was more he landed on his back. That's where I saw. I couldn't see the whole thing, but Daniel's a pretty tough kid, as we know. He's completely fine, though. So they just said there's no concussion system, no concussion issues or anything like that. So we just dodged a bullet there.
How do you think Brendan managed the offense today?
I thought he managed it pretty good. In a couple of plays early, I thought he could have ran. He tried to force a couple throws, but he's doing a pretty good job. He's seeing the field better. He missed. He was kind of off location. You saw the one where he could have checked it to Joe. He tried to check it down to Jay Lee. He got it just a little bit behind him, but it might have been a play because it was in space. Jay Lee might have got a chance to score on it. But his body of work from where he was and where he is now completely different.
Did you call that touchdown back because of the celebration?
Well, in all fairness, the quarterback's not live, right? So, and that's a very competitive day. The red zone drill, they both love offensively and defense. They love the scoring system in the red zone drill, so they're competing hard. So when that touchdown happened, I had to bring it back because that's really not fair for the defense, in those situations. So we just replayed it.
Coach, looking at the edge, you've got a number of guys returning, and as well as Chance Main, who seems like he's been making an impact this spring. How do you like your depth right now on the edges?
Very much like my depth there. I think it's important to have those depth on the edges because I felt like we didn't have that a year ago. We had some younger players come in and play. Devin Grant had a good season towards the end of the year where he made a few plays, particularly against Utah. But having Devin Grant this year, who's still a dynamic play, had a sack today. Obviously Chance Main's back there, Alvin Williams back there, Jamar Montgomery, Guy Thomas. I'm saying more names than I was saying a year ago, right? So we do have a lot of depth that I think are pretty close in talent. So that's why our first and second team, there's not much drop off. I really feel good about that. I didn't hear that. I don't know. Whatever you guys just said, there was a lot of mumble there.
In the, not just today, but the kind of entirety of spring practice, what did you learn about your team? What can you say about these guys that maybe you didn't know a month ago when you got going?
I would say more than anything is that their love for the game is really being apparent now. The love of the game. I think they really thoroughly enjoy competing, and I think that whole process built itself from what they did this offseason in their strength and conditioning program. So I love that they like to compete about the game. There's no issues about how long practices are, how much physical work we're doing. Those are the last things that they're even thinking about. They just want to compete and get better and win games. So right now the attitude is about getting better and win games. What do I tell them? Well, what I told them for May is that, they're going to get this break, but they got to stay in relatively good shape, and they know from our strength program how to implement some of those things when they go home. So we got to come back with being in decent enough shape to just start off